going to sing you Danny Boy. Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. It's you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadows, or when the valley's hushed and wild with snow. It's I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But when you come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. And I shall hear the salt you tread upon me, and on my grave shall warmer, sweeter be. For you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me. But should I live and should you die for Ireland, let not your dying thoughts be all of me, but breathe a prayer to God for your dear Sireland, and he shall hear, and he shall set her free. And I shall hear the soft you tread upon me, and on my grave shall warmer, sweeter be. For you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me. Happy New Year.
A little a cappella, Pittsburgh mix style. Rest in peace, and thank you very much, Mr. Conroy.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, live from Pittsburgh Studio Number 1, it's Cold War Radio. Here's your host, Hutch Bailey Jr.
Wow, all right, ladies and gentlemen, a rendition of a very famous song on St. Patrick's Day, live and in person back in the early 1970s, recorded in the living room in Shadyside in the neighborhood of Pittsburgh. Again, thank you, Mr. Conroy. Mike, your son, badass dude, warrant officer maintenance, warrant officer like myself, but much badder than me. Green Beret Special Forces warrant officer maintenance guy. A lot tougher than me, but a hell of a song. I know it, on its face, it might have seemed a little off, but beautiful just the same to me. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Welcome and thank you for choosing Cold War Radio from the Alpha Foxtrot studio in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Cold War Radio patron hotline is open 412-206-6208 about 9 o'clock. The voicemail 412-567-1460, open all the time. Please visit SteelCityResistance.com. You'll see our schedule emblazoned up there on the front. Become a Cold War Radio patron. You can catch the Research Room, the Video 2 page. If you'd like to write to the show, write to SCRTV at live.com or through the postal system, Cold War Radio, P.O. Box 10433 370 Castle, Shannon Boulevard, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania 15234. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, he's here. I wasn't sure if he was going to be, but he is for sure. Something must be happening. We'll find out in a minute. Let's go to the western end of Allegheny County, where all the airplanes fly around, and let's welcome Sal to the show. Hello, Sal.
Hey, Hutch, and everyone out there. Good to be here tonight. Yeah, you know what? I just was just taking care of some business today and had a whole bunch of things to take care of, thinking about getting rid of my car.
Uh-oh. What did it do? It made you mad. It must have.
No, it didn't make me mad. Actually, thinking about a couple of different possibilities, but exploring that option, maybe joining the truck club, but I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger yet.
That's different strokes for different folks. I'd highly suggest a certain model for reliability and just the ability to pull, and that Toyota Tacoma is pretty nice, man. I mean, I got a bigger one than that, but that's because of different things I do. But that Tacoma, I had three of them. Brand new, one right after the other. And the only reason I quit buying them was because of that tsunami. That tsunami hit, and it hit near the Toyota operation, and there was nothing on the lot when I was ready to get a truck, Sal. So I went to Ford, but now I'm back to Toyota, not because of anything Ford did. It's just that Ford and other American companies are so damn stupid, they're going green, and I couldn't get a big enough engine in an F-150. So screw you. I'm going somewhere else. I'm not playing that game.
Right, and that engine that you have is very reliable. So I'm sort of looking, but doing a little bit more than looking, just playing with some numbers today. So it was actually pretty busy up into and including showtime. So I just had a lot of stuff going on today.
Yeah, you got the fever. I know what you mean. So happy St. Patrick's Day. Did you see any festivities going around? Let's just remind the listeners, they've been reminded ad nauseum, but it happened on this day several years ago when Joe Biden came to town representing Barack Hussein Obama, and our lovely ladies were out in the street at 11 o'clock in the morning.
You got to see Biden?
Yes, I did.
You can look at me.
Obama, 2012, he's going to win, baby. He's the man. Biden was down here, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Go, Obama!
That's all I can tell you that. But that's where that came from, St. Patrick's Day. I wonder, did you see any things going on like that today?
I saw people with green shirts on. That was the biggest thing that I noticed, but no partying out in the street. I know this past weekend out where I'm at, there was quite a bit of activity at the local drinking establishments. They were packed. Actually, could not believe it.
They are right now.
Well, they were last week actually. So I was that caught me by surprise, but it's not a surprise at all, and it's actually good. I believe.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
It's good that people are getting out.
It is. Now, like I said, in this area, they take it a little to the extreme sometimes, especially the younger ones. They get tanked by 9:30 in the morning, and that's a hell of a cleanup job for the cops.
Well, in my old neighborhood, I experienced that.
Right.
I was in, right there in the middle of it all, and now that I'm outside of the city, I have my quiet now, so it's nice. Yeah. Like I said, just a few people walking around the local trails with green shirts on.
I know it was funny. A couple years ago, the inept people in the Pittsburgh government, they tried to cage people in. They used fences downtown, and they were so inept. I mean, they couldn't they couldn't get it right. They thought that they were going to just be like New Orleans, because New Orleans knows how to do it. New Orleans will control your ass in a crowd in a heartbeat. If they got to bring the horses out or whatever they got to
Right.
do, you'll cross the street where they tell you to cross the street, and the next crossing is 6 blocks down the road. You know, but Pittsburgh, nah, don't try that anymore, guys. That was a disaster. Anyway,
it didn't go so well, and I think they've been going back and forth, and now, of course, there's nothing going on this year at all because they're all afraid.
Yeah, they're afraid, and you know the city, Peduto ought to go to prison, and so should Fitzgerald, and so should Governor Wolf. They all three of them. I'll tell you, the city, the state of our city right now is the worst I've ever seen it, Sal. It is absolutely the worst I have ever seen it. I mean, I've seen Detroit on North Negley Avenue, something that I never thought I would see. I mean, vacant whole sections of apartment buildings, not one.
Well, this will give you a good idea. What usually stays open no matter what 24/7, and that's one thing, a 7-Eleven. When you see a 7-Eleven shutting down in the middle of a downtown, you know they're in trouble.
Yeah. And I mean, like the area that I was talking about is being taken over by Arabs. You know, there's an Arab store right where I lived there for a little bit. And there's an Arab store there now. And I'll tell you, you know, I was something when I was in 8th grade around, I guess. I was in what they called the Scholars Program, and I went to school at Arsenal Middle School in Lawrenceville. And that was my first introduction to racism in the Pittsburgh public schools with the busing. And they were completely racist against people that lived in these neighborhoods, and they brought people in from all the outside ghetto neighborhoods into these schools and destroyed the schools pretty much. But I was lucky because I was in Scholars, and I had a lot of good friends. I was never conscious of race when I was a kid. But reflecting on the story, I have to identify it. There was 3 or 4 black guys from the Hill District that were friends of mine that were in my class. And I used to ride my bike up to the hill in the evening in the summer, and we'd shoot basketball. You know, and I did this all the time, a lot of times. And I mean, I wasn't afraid of what was going on, but I was still street smart. You know, getting off the hill was easy because it was downhill. And I was on my 10-speed, you know. But my point is, it was a neighborhood that was a black neighborhood. And it is unbelievable to me to see how fast black Pittsburghers gave up their neighborhood to the Muslims. I mean, they gave it up to the Muslims quicker than the Italians gave it up to them. And I'm just being honest. That's just what really happened. So you can call it whatever you want, but that's what happened. The Hill District was an Italian neighborhood up until about right before Martin Luther King was killed. And then there was riots, and they burned all kind of stuff down in the Hill, and then all the Italians left, and it was before that. But now I go up there, and it's all shish kebab places and halal food and this and that, and it's horrible.
Yeah, wasn't Wilkinsburg also an Italian neighborhood?
Not sure about Wilkinsburg. East Liberty was. Not sure about Wilkinsburg because that wasn't a part of the city, but East Liberty definitely was. Larimer Avenue had. I mean, that's where the fellas were on L.A. You know, Junior Visconti and those guys. You know, but anyway, I was just surprised. I was coming down Baum Boulevard on the lower hill in Oakland, and it's like every other store they're giving it up. And then I get a thing in a postcard in the mail. Very important read. My name is Dorid Achbaud, and I would like to buy your property in the Pittsburgh area. I will guarantee to give you an extra $5,000, chump change, Abad, above any written offer you have from a wholesaler. I guarantee to buy it hassle-free, quick, and as is. You don't have to clean it out, fix it, or do anything except get paid for it and walk away. Contact me, Dorid Abad. Yeah, all right, Dorid, I'll get right on that. Show up, dude. And he's from out of Oakland on Semple Street. 413 Semple Street. It's probably a P.O. box. You know, but this is I'm going to look into this. I want to see what this is. This is destruction. This is Peduto, man. And he might not be behind it, but I'm sure he encourages it, because that's how stupid he is. Just saying. So,
well, good point. But maybe I wouldn't contact them. But hey, just watch yourself. That's all.
I'm not worried about him. I'm not gonna. I didn't get to be sitting here this long by being stupid, my man. But that being said, what the hell is this, man? Where'd you get my address? I mean, I know it's public information, but it's kind of offensive to me, man. I mean, it's like I didn't ask you. I didn't say I was selling. And this is how you see this happen all over. Let's just be serious. I'll give you examples right now. How about Beachview? You think that didn't happen with a conglomerate of Mexicans or Mexican advocates that turned Beachview into little Tijuana?
Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a little bit later about what happens when people move.
Yeah. Some of these places, it's like you said, you don't have to fix anything up because we're just going to tear it up anyway. All right, enough of my bigotry. Did you have any corned beef today? I did, man. I had a corned beef sandwich. It's kind of good.
No, I didn't have any corned beef. What did I have to eat today?
Probably
actually, I had
kale?
No kale. I had chicken, guacamole, a bunch of vegetables,
All right.
a couple protein shakes. The normal stuff.
Yeah. I had a corned beef and Swiss sandwich, and it was all right. It was hot, but you know what? Man, it was from the moonlight. And I don't know, guys, you got to understand corned beef, man. There's a science behind corned beef. Corned beef comes from the toughest cut of the beef, from the brisket. You can't cut it thick and expect to be able to chew through it. You got to chip it. You got to cut it real thin. Because if you start cutting it thick, then I got you on my list, Moonlight. You started out good, but it was too thick, man. You're in the B team. You're on the B team when it comes to corned beef. And that's pretty much unacceptable in Pittsburgh, man. I mean, damn, I'd expect that from out near Harrisburg, Try to get a Reuben out there, and you take a bite out of it, and all the meat comes out in one bite.
Well, one of my favorite burgers is a burger that has not only beef, but then it has corned beef brisket on it with then a hard-boiled egg or a egg on top.
Yeah. Did you know that Steak and Shake burgers were made from the brisket?
No, I did not know that.
That's a fact, but they're out of business. It's a shame. I like that place, but I've heard something. You can get something like what you're talking about. I don't know if you can mix the meats up like that, but Permane Brothers does that, and they're pretty good at it too. Permane's corned beef is good. I don't know if they mix them up, put more than one kind of meat on there, but I know they put the egg on. My son gets it like that. That's too much for me, but he gets them that way. All right, so let's move on. A lot of stuff happening. I'm envying Michigan's GOP. If, in fact, something happens, they may just be like Pennsylvania's GOP and the national GOP and just talking out of their ear, and nothing's going to happen. But they say that they want a special prosecutor and subpoenas for coronavirus nursing home deaths. And the only thing I could think of when I saw that was, where's ours, man? Where's the GOP in Pennsylvania dragging Wolf in front of a court? Because that's where he needs to be. And everybody associated with him, including the confused health director, all need to be in a court arguing why they did what they did.
Well, she got her escape package to Washington, D.C. I don't know why these people have not been questioned about this at all. And I think our GOP just simply wants it to go away. And so does people like Wolf and Levine. They don't want to hear about this again because now the vaccine's here and it's history, right?
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, what's going to happen is, well, I'll get to that when I get to that. Let me stick to my timeline. But, there's a lot of stuff going on that's easy to translate for people like us. I mean, it's tougher for, somebody that's not really paying that much attention, or, they're trying to go on with their life, and, they're not sitting around analyzing this stuff like I have to do, and you guys do once in a while. It's more nuanced, but I want to switch a little bit to something going on, and we'll come back to this, but this has really bothered me. Our culture is doing a nosedive toward the bottom of the pool. And the corporations, corporate America, which more and more is not America. It's about as much American as the American government, which is not very much. And if you look at a list of people in the federal government and in the agencies of the federal government, it's no wonder that they're opening the southern borders up. They're all from there. And I know I sound like Archie Bunker over here, but, you have to look at why people do things. And when somebody named Salazar says, don't call this a crisis, and I'm just using names, I'm just inserting them in there. It's not the right guy's name. I forget his name. I don't care what his name is. Doesn't matter to me. Biden put him there. Biden's not American either. Look at his transactions. He should be. You look at what Biden's done to this country, and there's something that should occur, and it's not going to, but it should. And it should have happened way before he stole the election, way before that. This guy should have been in federal penitentiary 10 years ago for all the things he's done. And everybody freaking knows it, and that's what pisses me off the most. But anyway, Netflix has a show, and I'm going to give you a little warning on the language here. It's a little risque, but, they don't care. I'll give you a little synopsis because it's a video clip. You can hear most of it. You can tell what's going on. But this is a clip that's making fun of you, folks. It's making fun of MAGA and American patriots and Christians and gun owners. It shows a clip of some people going to an NRA headquarters, and you've seen the inflatable boxes of little balls at Chuck E. Cheese and things like that, and in the McDonald's Playland, sometimes they have something like this, and kids get in there and they jump around in the balls and whatever. Well, they have one of them, except it's filled with guns. So the lady's jumping around in this thing, and the guns are flying everywhere, and they're going off, and a guy gets shot by one of them. Then they go to Jesus on the cross. Now, this is a show. It's called Paradise PD. I skipped the whole segment. That's all right. I'll go back to it. Paradise PD. And just check it out. It's absolutely godless, and it's sick. I warned you about the language.
NRA. Now we can have an intelligent conversation and stop acting like children. Oh my God, it's Bumpy the Bump Stock!
Chief, they have a gun pit! Yay!
Holy shit. It's Charlton Heston's corpse. Pry this gun from my cold dead hands and win a Republican Senate seat? Wow! Jesus, this dead fucker's got a grip.
Well, you must be Kevin and Karen. I'm head of the NRA. Chip, fuck yeah. Randall here told me you're thinking about enacting some restrictive gun laws. But I want to show you why guns aren't the problem. They're the solution. Just check out this reenactment video that imagines a world where Jesus had guns.
Any last words, Jesus?
Yeah, Messiah Nara, bitches. Oh, my dad! Oh, my dad! Oh, my dad!
Convinced yet?
No?
No!
I could thumb off to it.
Mr. Fuck You, can we at least agree we should do something to make guns safer? You know, like smart guns.
I'm glad you said that, because the NRA has actually developed smart guns.
Hi, I'm Mr. Bang Bang.
Ah, what the hell?
Smart guns decide when to shoot on their own. So now blind people, babies, hell, even animals can own guns, as long as they all white.
the warfare's on, man. And I'll tell you, there's people out there that believe this stuff. There really is. This is evil going on, and it's going on at the corporate level. And I don't know how you beat that, man, because too many people are buying Netflix. You know, it's suicide. It's as suicidal as the stimulus check I got today. That's how suicidal it is. I got $4,000. Now that's for three of us. That's for three of us.
Yeah. We can throw away the stimulus check. You can give it back. And the other thing is you can turn off the TV and recommend to
and neither one of those things are going to do anything. And I wish it was that easy.
Well,
because I did that once.
For Netflix subscribers, it will make a difference eventually. It will make a difference, and it might be a longer term thing. I know protesting or not buying something is a way to direct your money where you want it to go, and that's one thing we can do with that. On that, as the stimulus check, it's our money anyhow. If you pay taxes, or
it's borrowed money, it's not even there.
It's borrowed money, but if you have paid taxes, it's that. But yeah, things are going to crap pretty quick, and it really, it's the people who are in charge of these places that want to make these decisions to bring this kind of stuff to the forefront of entertainment. And I don't consider it entertainment anymore. There's really very little worth watching right now.
I agree. The only thing I'm watching anymore is historical things, is documentaries and things of that nature. I mean, there's a couple shows I like, but not very many, and none of them involve drama. You know, I mean,
and of course, there's going to be subtle hints, or more so than hints, towards the gun industry, which now they're starting to want to attack again. Why I do know, but why I don't know is they're very out of touch. Some of this stuff is very out of touch with the American gun owner.
The thing about Americans is that Americans think that we're all that in a bag of chips. And I'll tell you, there's Czechoslovakian or Czech companies and Turkish companies and other companies that build just as nice weapons as we do. And I'll give you my truck, my Tundra. I'm an America First guy, but hey, Ford, I got to get a F-250 to get a decent engine. Kiss my grits, man. Go out of business. I don't care. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to be out there looking for my money. You know, that's the way it works. And until you remember that, I hope you go bankrupt. I do. And I hope everybody that works for Ford goes bankrupt. Because, you know, if you stand by and you let this stuff happen, and it's like the junior officers in the military. You stand by and you let your senior officers do the shit they're doing now, I freaking loathe you as much as them. The same way with FBI agents and police. You know, when you put on a gun for a larger cause, sometimes you got to be larger than yourself. You know, and that's kind of what I meant when I contested your view on Netflix and the stimulus, because they're both my views. I've just failed with them so many times, I get sick of it. You know, but it's the same way with these people in authority. If you're a cop or you're an FBI agent and you're worried more about your job and your money than you are about your country, you're in the wrong freaking job, folks. Wrong job.
Well, what are we going to do about it? Well, what do you recommend we can do about it?
We're going to keep the show going, man. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to try one at a time to change the culture back to where we know it works, because that's what it's all about. It's all about God, Sal. And I don't care who your God is, it's all about God. That's the whole reason this is all falling apart, because nobody cares about the guy next door. Everybody cares about, I want to see my shows. I don't care what their money's doing. You know, I'm going to go to Walmart and buy the cheapest ass lawnmower I can find. Screw China's army getting rebuilt. I don't care if they're building battleships right now and have the biggest navy in the world, even though it sucks now. It's not going to suck forever. And our grandkids are going to be the ones that have to handle that. And the way it looks now, they won't have any money to be able to do it. And all of our boys are turning into little girls, so I don't know who's going to fight the damn thing. Maybe our women. Maybe that's who will fight it, our women. Because
there's a lot. We need a lot more. We need more women involved in government. Actually, so maybe they can start there.
Yeah, that's you could debate that, but yeah, I guess. Joe Biden has requested that we wear masks until everyone is vaccinated. Allow me to translate what that means. That's communism, ladies and gentlemen. That's as soon as we go over the halfway mark of people being vaccinated, people foolish enough or being forced or so afraid that they go get a vaccination for a common cold. Once we're over half, then they're going to use those people to force the rest to get vaccinations against their will, because they're going to have to keep what the government's going to do is going to say, no, you have to keep wearing those masks until you rat your neighbor out. Don't freaking doubt me. That's what's going to happen. That's already happening. That's what they're going to do. They're going to turn Americans against each other. That's what Democrats do. That's what they've always done, and that's what they're doing now. And you're going to hear some examples of that coming up. But don't fall for this. I'm listening to Glenn Beck today for some reason, and Stu Burguiere is on there, and this guy's lost his mind. He's out there telling everybody, oh, the 60 or 70% of Americans are fine with the vaccination. They'll run up. They don't care. They'll go get first in line. And then this amount and this amount. He said 10% of Americans are against the vaccination. And I don't know who he hangs out with, but I know the people I do. And other than some folks that are elderly, I don't know anybody that wants this vaccination. I mean, I just don't. I don't see why you would want it.
Well, I know you've been vaccinated more so than a lot of other people.
Very much more so. 3 pages more so.
Right. I myself, I do not want it. I don't want to be a guinea pig and let everyone else do that. Simple hygiene goes a long way for viruses. There are more viruses
your
out
health,
there.
if you get this, the people that are dying are the people that can't breathe already.
Right. And the people who get this are likely have some underlying condition.
That was my point.
Right. Exactly. So why get it? Why get it? Well, there's a reason to get it, and that's going to make some people very, very, very rich.
Of course. And if you have not gotten it yet, what makes you think you're going to get it? What makes you think that? I mean, the whole thing, the way it was put together, first of all, here's the main thing. I don't trust the government anymore. I don't trust any agency in the United States government. I don't trust the federal government. I don't trust the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, the FBI, the cops. I don't trust anybody at this point, Sal. I trust my doctor at the VA. That's the only government person that I even want to talk to. So you got the NIH with Fauci funding Wuhan. I mean, there's a story out today from Joni Ernst, and I can't remember why I don't like her. There's a reason I don't like her, but I didn't have time to research it. I can't remember. But she has a report showing millions and millions flowing to China from here, from Fauci. And I'm supposed to believe a damn word he says, or Pfizer or anybody else? Nope, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. I mean, you could hold me down and give it to me, but I just won't fly on another plane. I'll just be a little communist subject.
Well, getting to flying a plane, there was a recent picture of our climate czar not wearing a mask on an American Airlines flight. Did you see that one?
John Effingham Kerry?
Yes, sir.
No, I believe it, though. You'd have to have a hell of a mask to get over that nose. I mean, that guy's a pig. I can't stand him, man, because of local issues. The way, ladies and gentlemen, John Kerry's wife Teresa Hines was married to our senator from the Pittsburgh area, the John Hines, the heir of the Heinz 57 Ketchup Company. And he died in a helicopter. And old Carrie swooped in like a freaking vulture and married his wife. I don't know the details, but I just never looked at him the same after that. Sal, I just never did. That, and plus he's a traitorous bastard, a Navy officer, a worthless Navy officer that was in Vietnam and then came home and threw his medals over the White House fence and, went on the Dick Cavett show and called all the Marines freaking Genghis Khan. No, Genghis Khan, he said. Genghis Khan. He's just a Thurston Howell prick. I can't stand him. I'm in rare form tonight, man. You got me on a lucky night.
You're going pretty good, but Kerry is Kerry epitomizes hypocrites in Washington D.C.
He does.
He's on the top of the pyramid.
Trying to figure out why this isn't happening, but it doesn't really matter because, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do now is, as soon as I figure this out, which I'm almost there, not quite though. Where are we? Doggone it! Thought I had it, and I know I got it close, but it's not where I thought it was. I don't know what's happening. I hate when that happens, man. It's
that's okay because I'm going to throw.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm going to throw a curveball too because I got a little different segment. But go ahead. It's just as good as the one I planned.
It is. Well, that's good.
It is.
I can't find my intro. I'm trying to find it, and it's just there. It is. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Escape from New York.
All right, here we go. Directly from New York. This is what we need to know. There are workers, undocumented workers, who are going to fast. The week-long Fast of the Forgotten aims to put pressure on lawmakers in New York to fully fund cash assistance for residents who haven't been able to access stimulus checks or unemployment insurance. Street vendors, restaurant workers, and other essential workers launched a hunger strike Tuesday, calling on New York state legislatures to provide more financial assistance to workers who have been left out of the past relief packages due to their immigration status. Striking workers petitioning Albany lawmakers to earmark $3.5 billion in funding for undocumented workers. These workers are otherwise ineligible for unemployment benefits and stimulus checks included in previous bills, including the $1.9 trillion rescue package it was just passed. The protest, which organizers named the Fast for the Forgotten, kicks off in Manhattan's Morningside Heights neighborhood before heading downtown. Currently, members of the New York State Senate and Assembly have put forward a proposal that would finance a newly established excluded worker fund to the tune of $2.1 billion. It would be exclusively for the purpose of providing emergency wage replacement to workers that do not qualify for unemployment insurance or other workers or wage assistance programs. And you wonder why taxes are so high in New York. As written, the fund would give eligible workers up to $3,300 per month.
Damn.
People who were formerly incarcerated who are ineligible for unemployment benefits would also be covered, as would families whose primary breadwinners died during the virus crisis. Get this, the proposal appears to likely pass due to Democrat supermajorities in both the houses. But immigrant advocacy groups like Make the Road New York, an organizer of the strike, say that it doesn't go far enough. The people that are here today should be home taking care of themselves. Legislators need to do the work. Immigrant advocates have long criticized prior relief bills for excluding undocumented workers. They argue that these gaps have a significant impact on urban areas where many residents lack legal work authorization. Wow. New York, I don't know what to say to you, but get it straightened out. 2.1 billion? 2.1 billion. Ridiculous.
Totally ridiculous. A great segment. Outstanding segment. Is this why maybe regular wage earners and prior taxpayers that have always been paying taxes? Because I doubt that the people you're talking about are paying taxes. I just don't see the falafel guy, filling out forms and,
That's a very good question, because that's how the money gets back into the system eventually, is through the payment of taxes.
Right.
And if that person isn't paying taxes, that money never gets to actually circulate. If you want the government to pay you something, how can it actually produce what it's paying? There's people behind the scenes, if they want these $3,300 checks, that actually have to do something to make that $3,300 check happen.
But people don't figure that out. But see, and here's how they've done it. And they did it right here. If you live in Pittsburgh, your government did this to the rest of the country bigger than snot. They spend into the red, and then they get bailed out by Utah, by other states. That's what happened with Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania and several other states robbed the rest of the country. You think they don't know that? Pittsburgh? You Democrats that keep electing these scumbags, you think they don't know what they did? So your union, your teachers' union, could get fat and happy? I saw a group of Pittsburgh Parasite Schools employees working at a school. 4 guys in a truck. No kids. Nobody's going to school there. But these assholes haven't missed a day's work, Sal. Not one. They have nothing in this game. They have no skin in the game. These teachers are getting paid. It's criminal. We need to get the government out of schools, completely out of schools. Don't ask me how to do that, but man, that people aren't furious just gets me. And I know what it is. A lot of these fools don't pay any taxes. That's what it is. Because otherwise they'd be mad as I am. You add your county and your state or your city taxes around here, plus the sales tax, and it's more than a state tax. Have you ever done that? Have you ever looked at when you lived in the city? Did you ever see that?
I did see that. I was disturbed.
I know. I think it's still like that for you. I think it's the counties where it's real bad. I'm not sure, though. But anyway, people should be concerned when you have this giant freaking diseased, cancerous union workforce getting paid every single day and not doing any damn work. And it's no better at the VA. The VA, these people, now I'm not talking about the doctors, most of them, or the nurses, but I'm talking about like the people in billing and the carpenters and all that. These people aren't even going to work. And I know from working in the federal government, they're not missing a check. They're working from home, Sal. That's what they're doing. They're working from home. Not doing a damn thing. They're calling in from San Juan, Puerto Rico. In some cases.
And still getting paid. Still getting paid.
Oh, yeah. I got a guy on my street, Pittsburgh Public School police car, parked in front of his house. Goes down and drives down to the school once a day. I don't know what he's down there for. And comes back.
Make sure it's locked.
I don't know. First of all, it's a testament to, boy, I almost did an F-bomb there. It's a testament to screwed up government to have a Pittsburgh public school police force. That's a testament to how you don't run a city, in my opinion. And I went to school here. You know who did all that in my day, Sal? The gym teacher. The gym teacher was the one that kicked ass in school. And half of them were from the NFL or other professional sports. Some of them weren't the smartest, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but they were big, and they were in charge. And now we have a whole freaking force. We don't only have a Pittsburgh Public Parasite police force. We got a PAT police force, a Port Authority. We got bus police. And they've got investigative command centers and dogs and stuff. It's crazy.
It is crazy. And that's for our listeners, that's typical of Pennsylvania. We have so many layers of government and so many layers of police. We have state police, we have county police, and we have our local police. Then
my brother was on a bus one time, and my brother was a little crazy. I don't think you ever met him, but he was a little nuts. He was, well, let's just say that he was addicted to a whole lot of stuff. But anyway, he's on his bus, and apparently he fell asleep, and the bus got to the end of the line. And PAT is what we call our bus system here. Like in Philadelphia, they call it SEPTA or whatever. We call it PAT. And my brother said this PAT cop woke him up, and he like bleary-eyed looked at this guy and said, "What are you going to do, man? Take me to PAT jail?" You know, he said the guy like grabbed him, threw him off the bus. But that's my brother. That's typical my brother. Now back during World War II, back when Marvel Comics was still an American company, they still loved the country and they were part of the war effort. They invented a character who really stood for the United States and our way of life, the American way of life, and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And here he was.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. It is led to a fight, and a duel is due, and the red and the white and the blue will come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
When everybody wanted to be cartoon characters and comic book characters, I wanted to be too. I wanted to be Sergeant Rock, because I loved the way his Tommy gun sounded in the comic book. Bada, 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 bada. And I wanted to be Captain America. Well, Marvel Comics is preparing to introduce a nose ring wearing gay Captain America for the character's 80th anniversary. The new Cap also will be an LGBTQEIEIO activist, Captain America, which first hit the newsstands in March of 1941, is getting a makeover. Marvel will feature a new Captain America named Aaron Foster, a young gay man who the publisher says stands for the oppressed and the forgotten.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. It is led to a fight, and a duel is due, and the red and the white and the blue will come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Wow. I'm heartbroken, man. I mean, that's like people, and I think at Marvel, I think that was Stan Lee anyway, but I mean, who's running the joint, man? Where are all these people from? I know that they probably learned critical race theory and they probably hate themselves, and they're probably cutters. They probably cut themselves, and they have eating disorders, and they can't be normal to be like this. I mean, can you imagine living your whole life hating yourself? So I mean, I just can't. I cannot. I can't. Never did, and I'm not going. It's not healthy, folks. Don't do that. Get some help if that's the way you feel. It's not a normal thing.
We're in trouble if we got to deal with a woke Captain America. we got real trouble.
I mean, you look at these comics, man. Marvel Comics. They didn't cut any corners. When we were at war. We were killing the Hun. It's right. I remember the comic books. With the Japanese and the Germans, it was who we were fighting. And during the Cold War, it was the Russians. Remember Mad Magazine? Did you read that?
Yes, very much so.
You remember Sergio Aragonés in the margins? It was a Cuban guy that had cartoons really small in the margins of a book that was kind of like a comic book. And it was all about the revolution in Cuba, and dictators and stuff like that, and firing squads and whatnot, and spy versus spy. You remember all that? And Bullwinkle, with Igor and Natasha or whatever. It was all out there, man. And now, oh my God, you can't say any of that. We let all them into the country, and they're running the government now. You got Senator Boris Spassky over there, and in charge of Homeland Security, some guy named Alvarez or Barbarossa or something. Who knows? We're just giving it away. We're giving everything away, and anybody who recognizes that is a boomer bigot like me. You can't say anything, and you just can't. I still can't believe the Hill District. I can't believe those people, god darn good Americans in the Hill District. Some of them had some financial and some other difficulties. But my God, man, to give up your whole neighborhood like that, all of your businesses, it's unbelievable. That's where your businesses were, man. You just gave it up for what, $5,000 extra to Dorid Akbad? It's probably what it was. Somebody came in and gave an offer they couldn't refuse. It's the same way. It goes on all over the place. It happened in 7-Elevens. It's happening in beer distributors. And these people, they're not stupid. They pool their money, and it's not credit. It's real money. It's gold. And they show up to the sale, and they got the cash in their hand. And they're not arguing about thousands here and there. And some freaking American down on his luck gives up his whole family's legacy. And there's the same beer distributor, just no more repairs are getting done on it. If it goes down, if the window gets broken out, plywood's going up or cardboard. I could show you pictures all over the city, man. All over the country. Actually, all over the world. This is not something I'm making up. It's out there. And I know most people are just afraid to say anything. But it bothers me, Sal. It really does. When you grow up somewhere and you see this just sacrilege going on, there's a whole section of Route 51 that has been occupied by the Nepalese immigrants. And I wouldn't care normally, other than the fact that the businesses look worse than the vacant businesses that are next to them. I don't know if that's a cultural thing or what it is, but they sure as hell don't know how to keep up a business.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. We're like those they're like strip malls almost, right?
Yep,
Is that what you're
half
talking about?
Half of them are vacant. The other half are Nepalese. Another third are Nepalese. There's still a third of Americans trying to hang in there. And they're not Nepalese joints, attempts at American businesses. They're Nepalese grocery stores and things like that, and fashion stores.
Yeah, I've driven by there and wondered what that was all about. Thanks. I never knew what that was. You go around that curve and you see these, they're not very well marked places at all.
No.
And they look downtrodden. They look bad.
Are. I know. And it takes a bigot to illustrate this sometimes, because I know there's people out there on the opposition that's what they're calling me right now for the way I'm talking. And I don't give a damn. I'm telling you what I saw.
Yeah, these places don't look good at all. I didn't even know they were actually stores, but I know exactly where you're talking about now. Right around, you go around that curve and you start to go up the hill a little bit. I know exactly where you're talking about.
And there are other places in the city too. Like I said earlier, Indians have taken over the beer distributor industry, pretty much. And if you look at some of those establishments, same old, man. They broke the car wash and decided never to fix it. At the gas station where the one beer distributor is, it's just like, screw it. And it really looked good before they bought it.
Well, hopefully they don't let the cooler break.
Well, I'll tell you, I had to quit using, I'll tell that story another day. No, I won't. I'll tell it right now. I used to go to this beer distributor near my house, run by Indian guys, which I couldn't care less. They were good guys, I thought. To me, they used to take care of me. They outfitted half of my bar with pub tables and stuff like that. But the last time I went in there, he had craft beer, and he had a Belgian that I like, a Duvel it's called. And he had a gift pack of 2 beers and a glass. And I forget how much it cost, but I said, give me one of those. And he said, here, you want 2 of them? And I was like, no, man, one's good. And I took it home, and I should have known by the dead spider in the cup that it was old. But I figured, it's all right. It's sealed, whatever. Man, that beer was so freaking lumpy, I had to dump it out. And I'm thinking about this, and I'm going, that son of a bitch tried to give me both of them. He tried to make me clean up his mess, and I've been going there for 15 freaking years, and back then, I was a quantity buyer. I kept my bar full, because you've been there. And I kept half barrels on the one side and homebrew on the other side, and, I went there a lot. I was a loyal customer. And that son of a bitch lost me over that. I'd never been back. Because I figured he didn't respect me. I figured, what the hell? I'm your exclusive customer for all these years, and you just screwed me for $17 and tried to sell me two. If he wouldn't have tried to sell me that second one, I'd let him slide. But that told me, in my sick mind, that he knew that they were bad when he tried to dump the other one on me. But that's just me. You know what I mean? You there still?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm just letting you
waiting
go.
I'm waiting for you to bail me out here.
No, I'm just letting you go on that. But so I'm glad you at least were sober enough to understand that it was bad.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I was. I drink that. I don't drink that for effect. That was for taste. That's
okay.
Really good.
So you start off with that. That's sometimes where you start off at.
I used to. I don't mess with it anymore. I'm a little bit more laid back these days, Sal. But you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Cold War Radio on a Wednesday evening. The Wednesday briefing with Sal and myself, Hutch Bailey Jr. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with your phone calls.
One America News Network, your leading source for the latest breaking national and international news. With nearly 4 times as many headlines as the other networks. Straight news, no speculation, no opinion, just the facts. Complete coverage 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. One America News Network, your source for credible news.
A representative republic, not a democracy. Cold War Radio celebrates and defends this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr., your host. Ward, Sal, and Jack are my wingmen, and your live calls let it all make sense. Join us, Cold War Radio, live on Spreaker and forever on all podcast platforms.
The very First Amendment in the Constitution of the United States of America gives us the freedom to express our opinions and ideas in many ways. Speech can be weak, speech can be strong. Speech can be words, speech can be song. Speech can breed love, speech can breed hate. Speech can be poor, speech can be great. There are so many things that speech can be, but above all else, speech must be free. This message is brought to you by the NAB Education Foundation, the Broadcast Education Association, McCormick Foundation, and this station.
He was once late for Fajr, just to see how it feels. He performed Hajj 7 times by the age of 2. He can speak Arabic in 5 different languages. Arabia imports horses from him. He can use the bathroom without losing his wudu. He once gave a khutbah without saying a single word. When airport security stops him, he puts the pilot on the no-fly list. He is the most interesting Muslim in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I say astaghfirullah. Stay righteous, my friends.
The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Silver Star Medal to Octavio Nunez, Staff Sergeant, United States Army, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action against the enemy while serving with the 1st Battalion, 26th Infantry Regiment, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Infantry Division, in combat action against enemy forces in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom on 14 May 2007 in Iraq. On that date, Staff Sergeant Nunez was part of a truck convoy in combat patrol in the Adamaya neighborhood of northeast Baghdad. Although the convoy was struck by one improvised explosive device, the damage was slight and the patrol continued. Later in the day, a second IED struck the second truck in the convoy, causing severe damage, halting the convoy and wounding the soldiers in that vehicle. Riding in the lead vehicle in the convoy, and despite a hail of enemy fire on the entire convoy, Staff Sergeant Nunez ran toward the flaming vehicle where he encountered one of his comrades who was engulfed in flames. He tackled the burning soldier to the ground and extinguished the flames, and then, ignoring the enemy small arms fire, he dragged him to the relative cover of a nearby vehicle. Returning to the burning vehicle, Staff Sergeant Nunez began to evacuate another wounded soldier whose shattered legs and burns made moving him difficult. Under attack from all sides, including the ammunition exploding inside the burning vehicle, Staff Sergeant Nunez not only pulled him to cover, but lifted the much heavier man onto the truck. Yet a third time, Staff Sergeant Nunez attempted to race to the truck to search for any other wounded, but by now, the flames were too intense and he was restrained by his lieutenant. Staff Sergeant Nunez's gallant actions, courageous leadership, and willful risk of his own life saved the lives of 2 severely wounded soldiers. Staff Sergeant Nunez, job well done, and God bless America.
And Tommy and me, and there was Anthony Stabile,
How you doing?
Frankie Carbone, and then there was Mo Black's brother, Fat Andy, and his guys, Frankie the Wop, Freddie No Nose, and then there was Pete the Killer, who was Sally Balls' brother, and you had Nicky Eyes.
What's up, guy?
And Mikey Francesi,
That guy, yeah, I want to see him.
and Jimmy Two Times, who got that nickname because he said everything twice, like...
I'm gonna go get the papers, Come on,
lift it up. Vinny, they're gonna be out of style by the time you get this thing going. Come on, lift it up. There you go. Watch the wall. Come out, Vinny. What is this, coats? Henry, I need suits, Henry, not coats. Suits are come Thursday. I know, but this is the middle of the fucking summer. What am I going to do with fur coats? Huh? You know what? First, I'll take the first. No. Take them away. I want them. You know what we do? We'll hang them in the freezer with the meat. How's that?
For us, to live any other way was nuts.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, live from Pittsburgh Studio number 1, it's Cold War Radio. Here's your host, Hutch Bailey Jr.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Get ready to get back to the show. House Speaker Representative Nancy Pelosi reportedly, Sal, suggested Tuesday, it's coming. Here it comes. Get ready, folks. Some possible ways President Asterix Joe Biden's infrastructure package could be bankrolled. Now, we know Joe Biden doesn't have an infrastructure package. I'm sure Trumpka does, though, or Hoffa, or some of these guys. I'm sure they've got one, but Biden doesn't have anything. According to a Politico reporter, Pelosi pitched possibly raising corporate taxes and capital gains taxes on a conference call Tuesday. The reporter also mentioned Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, Massachusetts, is pushing for a wealth tax that she, Representative Pramila Jayapal, another fine American in Washington State, and Brendan Boyle from Pennsylvania proposed on March 1st, which imposes a 2% tax on assets net value for the wealthiest Americans. Think about that, Sal. You know what that is. They're going to go back and tax everything these people own, and half the stuff they own are tax shelters.
They can't get out of their own way. It's going to be ridiculous, and they don't think there's enough taxes when there already is plenty of taxes already on the wealthiest of people, and this is not a good solution going forward. Not at all.
It's not, and I've got some people that I know that we end up, these are tough times. We end up talking about them every time we get together. And my opinion has remained the same. It's changed a little bit here and there, but overall, I still think these fools jumped the gun, man. I think that they think we're as stupid as they think we are. I really do. I have no other explanation of why they would drive forward so hard with such a narrow theft of the election after the House. I mean, you look at the House numbers, and the House, they got killed, the Democrats in the House. And in the Senate, Georgia, man, we need to do some work on Georgia. That was unacceptable what happened there. It really was. That was criminal too. And to allow these kind of things, to allow Stacey Abrams to be an upstanding member of the Democrat crime family, she can't even get her teeth straight. I mean, if you were going into public life, Sal, and you had teeth that looked like that comic book character, wouldn't you get them fixed first?
100% yes, because
even Joe Biden's kid did that. Got his
image
teeth
is
fixed.
Image is everything.
Sure.
Or at least one of the things.
You know, and it's just that's her judgment. She doesn't think that she needs to do what everybody else does. You know, and it's, you know, all right, I'm not going there yet. Maybe later. Let's go to the phones. Who's up first, Sal?
We have, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the callers. Let's welcome Marlene from Oregon. Marlene, how are you tonight?
Hi, Sal. Hello, Hutch.
Hello.
Just bringing back all these wonderful comic book and cartoon memories. Back when cartoons were decent.
Yeah.
And we could watch them and they were funny.
Arriba, arriba, andale, arriba, arriba, arriba.
Yes. Hutch, did you ever watch Pink Panther?
Yeah, of course I did. And you know, there was a candy. It wasn't really a candy. It was like a box of Pink Panther candy. It had I forget what it had. I remember the candy though. But yeah, I love the Pink Panther, the cartoon. Cartoon you're talking, not the movie.
The movie was funny, but the cartoon was priceless.
Yeah, I agree. It was great, man. All of those were.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, when I just said that, arriba, arriba, we used to say that out loud in public about number 21 playing right field, batting third, Roberto Clemente. Jesus Clemente. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Arriba, arriba. That's what the gunner used to say, Bob Prince, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. But anyway,
we've changed.
A bit, I found we found an article in the American Thinker. I've got the whole article posted if somebody wants to read it. But basically what they're talking about is where are the Republicans? And what they were getting at is that the Republicans, they don't really care that the election was stolen. And I don't think the Supreme Court cares either. They act like they do, but it's a bunch of baloney.
I think I think the Supreme Court probably cares, but I don't think they had.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they had the audacity.
Maybe one or two justices, but not the rest of them.
Well, I mean, they didn't care enough to do anything about it. I think it's cowardice.
That's true.
It's either cowardice or it could be blackmail.
Well, actually, there was a couple people did want. It sounded like there was one person who definitely wanted to do something about it and hear the case.
Clarence.
Correct, but there were others.
The Uncle Tom of the court.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
But the others.
I actually like that guy.
Actually, the others were either afraid and we know some of them are afraid.
Oh, I know Brett Kavanaugh is scarred for life. That guy, I mean, he wasn't real masculine to start with, and they eviscerated him in front of his little girls. Man, I mean, he's never going to let that happen again. And I guarantee you, somebody's threatening it.
But that's where
he's just a punk sissy son of a bitch and ought to resign. Is what he ought to do.
Well, that group. It does take a majority, 5 versus 4 to hear a matter. And unfortunately, there just wasn't enough traction for that to happen. Right. And they didn't see enough where they thought it was worthy. However, there was, like I said, one justice who was ready to take action and perhaps hear this case.
Let's be honest, though. Let's be honest before we go any further. They didn't look at anything to know if there was anything there or not. They rejected it out of hand without looking at any evidence from any lawyer on any case, on any of them. They rejected them all out of hand,
said no.
like cowardly son of the bitches they are. And I'm just calling it like the Army guy I am, Sal. That's just the way, that's what I saw.
And it's true.
There was never any explanation. It was always, oh, well, there's nothing here. It's like, nothing here?
That's what I thought,
Giuliani had 100 affidavits. What do you mean, nothing here?
He did.
Can't we just at least look through them?
You know, a ton of evidence.
Look through it at least, tell me that it's a lie or something.
So let's shift gears a little bit.
And you're the legal mind, by the way. Let me put that out there.
Yeah.
You know more than I do. I'm talking from the street level.
Well, there was no evidence really heard, and we didn't get to see the evidence. And the affidavits are evidence. However, no judge thought that there was enough evidence to hear the case and actually get these people in court to testify. And that's where it's at.
Let me ask you a question. When they say that, did they actually, like, all right, say if a lawyer comes up, any one of these lawyers, and they put this stack of papers in front of the judge, did somebody look at them, or because it seemed so fast from the time that the case was brought,
perhaps,
it was between news cycles?
Likely not, because a lot of these cases were kicked out for procedural issues, not actually factual issues. So they might not even have gotten to the point of looking at the affidavits.
It's a shame. Shame.
It is a shame, but that's really what the...
that's how the Civil War started, right?
Yeah.
With Dred Scott. I'm sure you studied that on what happened there.
Well, procedure, a lot of the low-hanging fruit is in procedure. And if you procedurally can't get to where the next step is through various maneuvers legally, then your case is done with and evidence is never heard.
But what's the odds that many different cases in that many different states and venues were like that? I mean, this was a setup.
I think the odds are that a lot of these state legislatures let us down. And that's where
our judiciary shot. It should be closed down.
Our legislature let us
down.
Not
legislature,
as well.
judiciary. Our judiciary is worthless in Pennsylvania. I mean, everything that ever gets found is always for the communists. Every single one.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong.
I wanted to shift gears a little bit, and I wanted
to
know.
You want to know what I was cooking?
No, absolutely not. You're wrong. Let me tell you what I was thinking there.
Go ahead, Sal.
I want to know.
I'm giving you some leeway, man. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, sir. I want to know what you're doing or what you did for St. Patrick's Day.
She's Ukrainian.
I don't really. Darn you. I really didn't do much for St. Patty's. I've been trying to work on getting rid of some of my dad's stuff, and I've actually sold a few things.
Was he Irish?
I'm starting to wonder he might have been. I've got to ask my aunt who lives over in Bend. I'm going to either call her or write her.
You don't know what nationality your dad was?
He told me he was a mix. He says he was Welsh. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
So
from Wales. It's from Wales. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't mean anything, does
maybe.
It? With the UK, I guess.
No, this mean a damn thing. That's why I want to ask my aunt who was over in Bend and ask her, because
let me give you some advice
about Welsh, and I'm like,
let me give you some advice. I'm sitting here with photographs and things that go back to the Civil War for my family.
Yes.
And I'm the oldest one alive, damn near, in my family. Everybody's gone, man. Go ask them today. After the show tomorrow, go get a meeting and sit down with a pen and paper or a tape recorder or something and talk to your older relatives. You'll be glad you did.
I've talked to a lot of them, but I will take your advice. I will be calling my aunt, because she lives over in Bend, but I can talk to her.
Yeah.
And find out.
I mean, I don't even know who these people are, man. These people are sitting on the front I got one picture, and everybody is dressed to the nines. And this is in the 1800s, right? And I'm looking, and because I went to military school and things like that, I know what a spit shine pair of shoes looks like. And all these dudes had spit shine shoes on, not shine with the brush. I'm talking about mirrors, which takes hours and hours to do. And I was just stunned. I have no idea who any of them are. It's a shame.
Wow.
All right, Marlene. So final comments, Marlene.
Okay, you wanted to know about food? Well, I will tell you. But I'm also going to mention real quick that I will not get that stupid vaccine. I don't want them messing around with my DNA. Hell to the no way. But as far as the food, I did make another pot of borscht. It turned out fantastic. It lasted us 3 days.
Sour cream?
Yep. No, David doesn't. I love it, but David doesn't like sour cream, so I omitted it.
I tend to go with David. It's like, I don't know if you ever heard of a calzone. I don't know if it made it that far west.
Yes, I know what a calzone is. Yes.
But I don't like ricotta cheese. It's the same as the sour cream and the borscht. I think it destroys the whole character of the red sauce. And I would think
I think you're right as far as the sour cream. I've had it with sour cream, but I prefer it without it.
Okay. I just was looking at some recipes, and I saw that was prominent. Was a dollop of sour cream.
Traditionally, yes, they put sour cream on top, and that's a lot of times when they make it with just the onions, the beets and the cabbage, and there's no meat in there.
Okay.
It's more like eating kind of like an onion soup, and I've had that, and that's blah. Yeah. When I make mine, it's more like a meal.
All right, Marlene, we got them. We got them stacked up. We got to go.
Okay. I understand. I'm going to tell one more thing, and I promise I'll get out.
Okay.
You want to know, the other thing I did was I made some muffins with my protein shakes.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Are they really rich?
I will let you guys go because I know you got a line behind me. So.
All right. Thank you, Marlene. Appreciate it. Who do we got
You're
next?
Welcome much. Take care.
All right, we have. It looks like Sean from California. Sean, welcome to Cold War Radio.
Hey, Hutch and everybody, how we all doing?
All right.
Good.
Well, I got an interesting little article, and I've been hearing this through the grapevine through my social areas or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but apparently in Sacramento, there's a county in Sacramento that has made it totally illegal to work on your car at home. You can't do it anymore. You can't work on changing the tires. You can't work on changing the oil. You can't work on changing the brake fluids. You can't work on anything.
Why
did they do
that?
Yeah, who's enforcing that?
I do not know. It's an article that I put in the chat room. Apparently, it's part of the zoning law that someone's so proud of.
That's fair. Well, you know what? That's kind of fair. You know, if you look at, and I don't know, I would have to look at the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Sometimes, they put these stories out, but there's a theater and 3 restaurants and then 6 houses and then another theater and a bunch of stuff, the mixed zoning. And when you have somebody in between that jacking their 65 Chevy up and, putting oil all down the road, it could tick somebody off. I could see that.
And you got the air tolls running,
right, yeah. And they don't clean up after themselves. I mean, there's times where, there's a guy on my street that does that kind of stuff. And I'm like, dude, man, why do you have to do this right out in front of the house? You're driving my property value down by doing that. Take it to the freaking garage or go over somewhere else. But I understand what you're saying on the Liberty side. I got that. And I know that, these housing associations and things like that. I used to live in one, and it was a private community, and you had to pay money to live there. It wasn't much, but you had to be part of the group. And little old ladies used to go around with a tape measure or with a ruler and measure how high your grass was. Because in the bylaws, it was like it could only be so many inches or whatever. And it's like, man, go home. Get out of my yard. But with zoning, with something like that, only because I've lived it, I can understand it in a way. But that doesn't mean that what you're saying is wrong. It could be crazy, but it could be less crazy than maybe the article makes it sound.
I mean,
if that makes any sense.
It's like, well, it kind of does and it kind of doesn't. I mean, I understand it a little bit to where, you made some good points to where,
working on cars is a dirty business. It's a dirty business, man.
Right.
I mean,
and then you have air tools going off, and that get annoying.
Or body work, and you got Sanders and body putty dust going everywhere and staining people's stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do something like that, I consider that like somewhat medium auto repair kind of deal where you'd have to take that into a shop. I understand that, but if you've got to change a tire because your tire's flat in your driveway, you should change it.
Oh, I would. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care what the damn ordinance was. I would change it. Stop asking permission, America. Do what you got to do. Let them come arrest you. Make them make the move.
I know it's ridiculous though. So to me, it's like, okay, well, that's something that's going to be completely out of control at some point where you can't even work on your own vehicle at your home. Maybe like, again, changing a flat tire. Or maybe the oil pan or whatever's leaking. And you got to like patch it up real quick and then take it to an auto parts shop. I mean, what the hell? It's so stupid. But I understand the other flip side of that coin, the way you just brought it up. I understand that. But it's still like, come on. What if you want to actually teach your kid how to maintain your own vehicle? Because like you said, we have kids coming out and they don't know jack squat about having to do an oil change or change the brake fluid. I know how to do that. You drain the damn thing.
What about just simply changing a tire when you get a flat? That's usually the biggest thing that you need to know when you're out, and especially where you're at in California. You know, it's not that some of the areas aren't that densely populated, and you need to be able to change a tire.
Yep, and you have to use a lug nut wrench, and once you do that, you take the tire off that's flat, then you replace the other one with a spare that you got in your trunk. You put the lug nuts back on, you tighten it up, and if you have that special tool that you used in auto shop class that you hear the click, 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 and click.
It's the torque wrench to torque down the lug nuts.
Yeah, the torque wrench.
And ladies and gentlemen, just to clear everything up, it's not changing the tire. That's changing a wheel assembly. Changing the tire requires another tool or a bunch of spoons, and it sucks. But you pretty much need to do that in the garage these days. You can do it by hand, but it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to get that tire off that rim. Anyway, Sean, I left you a message in the chat room.
Yeah, I saw it.
You can answer me that on email. Be good. But final comments or anything else you got? What else you got?
So the whole thing with the 2 million signatures, again, I don't mean to sound like a negative Nancy or anything. It's just let's all understand that we have to keep our eyes open for this California recall. I mean, yeah, we reached 2 million signatures. I almost said $2 million. But anyways.
Did you see Tucker Carlson last night?
No.
There was a woman on there.
Gavin Newsom.
There was a woman on there talking about Newsom, and she said that they've reached over 50% of the electorate, and that it's only a matter of time now. And I'm not doubting anything you say, but she did sound like she knew what she was talking about. Don't even know who she was, but she sounded like she was on it, man, like this guy's toast. I don't know if that's true. Like I told you, I've heard that he's going to be the next vice president of the United States of America with
that's true.
Kamala Harris.
That would really suck.
I think it'd be great, man. I think we deserve it.
Well, I think if America's woke up enough to where they're seeing what's going on and this cheating and fraudulent crap. That's where I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to even go further than that. But
I feel you, man. I feel you.
In any case, like I said, we have major issues here in the state of California. One, we have ballot harvesting. Two, we have people who take advantage of that on all higher up levels. We do not have a majority of Republicans in the House or in the state Senate. Okay? So even if we manage to recall him, they're going to find a way to say, you know what, sneak this under the table so that they can't even remotely get a Republican in. Even if he is
can you even get somebody of European descent in? I mean, I swear, you look at these these legislatures, and they're built against us. They're going to let everybody they possibly can in here. It's freaking suicidal, and it's going to require crazy. That's what it's going to require, and it won't be the first time that we went crazy. And I'll just leave it like that.
And I feel you too. I mean, I pray every night it doesn't get to that point, but you know what? These people are asking for it, so I'm going to just say, let them sleep in the bed that they made for themselves.
That's right. And here, to those of you, and thanks for calling, man. Always appreciate it. Love your insight. And
peace out, guys.
Stay in the fight, man. We need you.
Oh, yeah.
We need people your age worse than you know. But, you know, I talk about this, and, you know, people, you want to impress me if you're from Central or South America and you're in America and you love America, freaking stand up and say that. You know, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Get out there like Staff Sergeant Nunez and lift a dude twice as heavy as you into the truck. You know, and come back and put a flag up in your freaking stuff. All right, Sean, thank you, brother. Always appreciate it.
Guys.
The President of the United States of America knows what the problem is, and he knows it's in the Senate.
We had mail-in balloting because of COVID, but now Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats want this H.R. 1 to stand. They want it to pass the Senate so that mail-in ballots could be the standard. What are your thoughts on H.R. 1, Mr. President? But first, will you run again?
Well, let me ask you, let me answer the first question. The other question, I think it would be a disaster for our country. It would be very unfair. The Democrats use COVID in order to do things that they can't believe they got away with, what they did, and they didn't get their legislatures to approve. And by the way, in the Constitution, you have to do that. And our Supreme Court and our courts didn't have the courage to overturn elections that should have been overturned, because you're talking about decisive amounts, hundreds of thousands and even millions of votes. They didn't have in the Constitution, it says the state legislatures have to approve changes. They made massive changes early, just before the election in some cases.
Pennsylvania.
And they made massive changes that not even mentioning all of the other things and all of the dishonesty in the election, the state legislatures did not approve these changes. Therefore,
Maria, let me help you. You've got the President of the United States on the line. STFU.
Well, they're not allowed. And the Supreme Court, they didn't rule on the facts. They ruled on standing. Well, you don't have standing to bring it. The Supreme Court should be ashamed of itself.
Well, I mean, this H.R. 1, that would federalize these elections. So going forward, can a Republican win again if H.R. 1 becomes law?
If they allow that to happen, if it's allowed to happen, I think your Republicans will have a very hard time getting elected. What will happen is the Democrats will be able to do what they did in the 2020 election, and even worse, potentially even worse. It's set up. It is a setup that they can't believe. And it's because of the fact that the Republicans lost 2 seats that they never should have lost in Georgia. And they never should have, if they were watching and doing their job, they should have never lost the presidential election in Georgia or 5 other swing states. Should have never happened. When you look at what they did, and when you look at the dishonesty and all of this in that election, they should.
All right, so just so everybody gets what the president just said, just so everybody understands why I loathe the Republican Party. Most of these swing states were run by Republicans in the legislature, maybe not in the executive branch, and maybe not in the judicial branch. But by God, the Republicans are the reason Joe Biden is president, and anybody who thinks otherwise doesn't understand politics. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm telling you, Republicans threw this election.
It never happened. They have to stop that,
Mr. President,
bill.
so what about
Absolutely.
it? What about it? Will you run again, Mr. President? Are you considering 2024?
Well, based on every poll, they want me to run again, but we're going to take a look and we'll see. We have first steps first. We have to see what we can do with the House. I think we have a very, very good chance of taking back the House.
It's 2021.
We did a great job. You know, you're going to lose from 15 to 25 seats the last time. I got involved. I worked very hard. I made tremendous amounts of meetings, speeches, and teleconferences and everything else for 56 of them. I had 56 basic teleconferences with thousands of people on the line on each one. And what happened is we ended up winning 15 seats instead of losing potentially 25 seats. That's a big swing. And it almost cost Nancy Pelosi her job. I think we have a chance of taking back the House. I think we have a chance to do better in the Senate. We need leadership in the Senate, which, frankly, we don't have. We need better leadership in the Senate. You have a good chance to take back the Senate. And, frankly, we'll make our decision after that. But, you know, if you take a look at the polls, Maria, when you take a look at what's happening on our southern border, when you take a look at what's happening with energy independence, which will be gone in 2 months, and we had it for the first time ever, we had it. And prices were low. When you take a look at all of the things, and then when you add the fact that I was the one, and this administration was the one that came up with a vaccine, which is going to save the world, okay? It's going to save. We would be, I think, worse than 1917, where 50 to 100 million people died. The vaccine is such a big thing. When you add it all up, I think we'll do very well in 2 years, and I think we're going to do very well in 4 years.
Now, Sal, that is the one area. It's one of the areas that I totally disagree with President Trump. I think that the whole thing was overblown. I don't think this was anywhere close to the influenza breakout in the early 1900s. I don't think it was even close. I think this has all been fraudulent from the beginning. And I think it shows really how weak the Chinese Communist biological weapons program is. Really, I mean, when you look at the fatality rate, it's a failure, man. If you're the guy in communist China that came up with this biological weapon, you've probably already been executed.
Well, you could argue that the financial damage that they cause has been tremendous. So in that respect,
I
would say that it's been very successful.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
It's been very successful because we, us Americans.
But let's be honest. The only reason that it's been successful is because of our weakness in the judiciary. If the president was still the president, we'd be freaking sailing right now. This is the Democrats doing this, and it's the Senate Republicans, as I said before, that are the culprits behind all this. If it wasn't for the weak-ass Mitch McConnells and Thune and Cornyn and Burr and all the rest of these Toomeys, these are the pigs of American society. The Republicans in the Senate, Lindsey Graham, I mean, it goes on and on. Mitt Romney, they're terrible people. They're just absolutely horrid. And they gave the election theft to their BFFs in the Democrat Party, and it's sickening. It is. Anyway, who's up next? Where are we going?
All right, let's go. I believe we're going to go to Murray, Kentucky, and welcome Rico. Rico, welcome to Cold War Radio.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Hey, I'm going to have to apologize to you and everybody who's listening because I missed the first 55 minutes of the show today.
Dude, that's like that's blasphemous and stuff. No, you're good. What's up?
All right, final comments then.
But I will admit, I was helping out. He doesn't call himself an ex-Marine. He doesn't call himself a former Marine. He says there's no such thing. You're just a Marine. I was helping out, Wes the Marine at his dojang. I was helping him out.
Who?
Do stuff. Wes the Marine.
I don't know who that is. Okay, good.
Well, he's I don't know, he's about 53 years old. He does Taekwondo martial arts.
Okay.
He's trying to help out Marshall County in his own little area. He doesn't care about money. He only cares about making this place better than what it
All right. Sounds good. My kind of person.
So
my kind of guy.
I'm helping him out. But what he doesn't know, I'm trying to get him to listen to you.
All right.
He just got some OCD stuff going on where he can't sit still. I just say you just need to listen to him. You don't have to listen to him for 2 hours.
Just listen in the background while you're pacing
listen
or whatever.
15 minutes. Yeah. I will probably get him to listen to you eventually. It'll take some time.
Right.
But I'm helping out a Marine.
Okay.
And I'm proud of it.
Good deal.
But anyways, 3 weeks ago or so, we had this little thing that you started, and I haven't seen it since. It's Ask Sal. Can we
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, we could. What we did was it morphed into Escape from New York, which you missed. You missed the first 55 minutes of the program. But it has a background music and all kind of stuff. But if you want to ask Sal something, it's AX. It's Ask Sal a question. So if you want to ask Sal something, good.
I do. But I also know that if I ask Sal, I'm also asking you.
Well, I'm trying to exercise some restraint over here, but
All
right,
if
go ahead.
If I have to, I will push the red button. But go ahead.
All right. There happens to be a newspaper in New York who basically minimized, or even, how would I say it, sort of suggested that the Holocaust never happened. But in today, they have given a retraction and basically gave an apology to Trump months after what they have said. I'm going to ask you, what do you think of that? And what do you think of Trump saying, hey, thanks for the apology? I'm a little bit weirded about it,
Yeah, let's go a little bit backwards here. Trump, for as much as he's labeled as this or that or anything, in his family are actually Jewish people. And I think he has a real respect for all people as well as Jewish people, because his daughter did convert to Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I don't think he really, just going more to the heart of the story, though, I don't believe Trump really respects any media outlet, whether they report truthfully or not, because as we've seen, the Fox News that he was very much in love with really didn't do him much of a service at all. So as far as them issuing
the country,
you're right, or the country. So I think he takes it. I really don't think he really even cares about it, to be honest with you, Rico.
I thought it was kind of tongue-in-cheek.
Exactly. And so if anybody, like I said, his own daughter converted to Judaism, his son-in-law is Jewish. We know what the history is. The history is very clear on that. If someone wants to put that in writing to the contrary, otherwise, we know what fools they are from the outset. So I don't think he took the apology or retraction or whatever it was serious at all.
But what about the other side? The New York Times basically apologizing for what they did a few months ago and what they said. They created a narrative. They created a narrative. It worked the way they wanted to, and now they apologize. I think that's just, they're full of it.
Let's look at the reality of that. And I know, see, you baited me pretty good, because that's as long as I can stay quiet.
Yeah, no shit. What do you think I'm here for?
Yeah, but see, I know, so I let it work to my advantage.
Oh, yeah, I know.
At any rate, let's look at Kushner, at Jared Kushner. He is the Jew we are talking about in the Trump family that married the president's favorite daughter, obviously, and, provided grandchildren who are now Jewish grandchildren. And Jared Kushner, as much as Ann Coulter berated this gentleman, he was able to damn near single-handedly, with his father-in-law's stick behind him, come up with peace treaties that are historic as Jesus, man, when it comes to Israel and the Muslims of the Middle East. He did it, man. Jared Kushner did that. His father-in-law was behind him with the B-1B bomber, But he's the one that did it in tandem with the president. So the New York Times can pound sand. Jared Kushner and President Donald Trump did more for Israel and the Jewish people than anybody. Let's put it that way.
And that's why I don't think he really cares, because his actions speak louder than any words that he would ever say.
I agree, man. I agree. Your thoughts, Rico, on the rebuttal or response, rather?
Well, in a general sense, I was just thinking about it in a general sense as far as my final words.
So what, you're just like discounting what we said or what?
No, I'm not. I'm letting it stand alone.
Gotcha.
I'm letting it stand alone, but I had my idea. You guys twisted things. I don't want to say twisted in that way, but you guys used the information in a way I didn't think that you would use it. I was only thinking about the actual retraction, the actual, hey, I'm sorry.
Well, what I meant really was, in order for that, and Sal, pretty much said this, in order to focus on it that way, then you would have to think that the president gave a shit. And I don't think I agree with Sal.
I don't.
That the president realized that, look, man, I did more for Israel. And matter of fact, I did more for black Americans. I did more for any American, any subset, and any balkanization group of America that the Democrats have created. The president did more for them than any Democrat ever did at the New York Times. So for the New York Times to come out with something even along those general lines is why the New York Times is about ready to relocate to a trailer park, brother. Because they suck and they're stupid, and people are starting to realize it.
Well,
I think.
Yeah, like I said, you guys got real specific. I was thinking about things in a general sense.
Okay,
and that wasn't not my intention. But the thing is, any newspaper, any media outlet basically says they're sorry about anything they've said about or did to Trump.
Okay, that's a good thing.
And anybody who happens to be Republican.
That's a milestone, I guess. Okay,
that's the way I was kind of looking
I got you.
at it.
Okay,
you're dug in deep, man.
But you're giving them.
That's my job, man.
You're giving them. You're acting like they're being credible or nice, and
I'm saying they're not.
No,
I will never
give
them credence for any type of apology.
They are clearly not. They are clearly not. They are clearly. I believe they're not. They're anti-Americans, most of them.
Oh, indeed,
absolutely.
And
that's where I was thinking. You guys got specific on me. I was thinking something in general.
No, let me just tell you. Let me tell you something that a lot of people. I don't know if you know it or not, but I'm just going to throw it out there. And this was gleaned by me as a talk radio host from my mentor, Rush Limbaugh. When I have co-hosts. And this is going to sound really bad. And okay, it might. But when I have co-hosts and I have callers and guests, their mission is to make me look good. I mean, so, if something comes on that's a little controversial, I got to get into the details, Rico, you know what I mean? Because I got to make it like, all right, man, this is a good caller. And you're a great caller. All of our callers are great.
That, yeah.
All of you guys are great.
And that's a good question, Rico. And I know we kind of shifted it somewhat away.
Like I said, that's something I wasn't expecting.
That's what we do.
And I love the fact that you guys shifted it on something that I wasn't expecting, because that makes for great radio. Makes for a great conversation, and I appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the future podcaster, Rico from Kentucky, man. Thanks for calling, my man.
Possibly. We'll talk to you later, brother.
All
right. Thanks, Rico.
Rico, my man. All right, we're going to go to the next caller right after Governor DeSantis from Florida.
Florida civics curriculum will incorporate foundational concepts with the best materials, and it will expressly exclude unsanctioned narratives like critical race theory and other unsubstantiated theories.
3 people clapped.
Let me be clear. There's no room in our classrooms for things like critical race theory. Teaching kids to hate their country and to hate each other is not worth 1 red cent of taxpayer money.
All right, we're up to like 7 people clapped.
So we will invest in actual, solid, true curriculum, and we will be a leader in the development and implementation of a world-class civics education.
Sal, Governor DeSantis is not playing. He is walking the walk. I initially, I didn't think he really had what it took. But, man, this guy is on the forefront of almost every issue. He's better than Abbott of Texas, in my opinion.
So when is he and Trump going to get together for some rallies?
Soon, I think. I think soon. Who's up next on the roster?
All right, we have an unknown caller.
That's Regina.
Unknown caller. Welcome to Cold War Radio. Subject or topic, please.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Hear you loud and clear, Regina. Welcome.
Okay. Hello. How y'all doing?
Doing
Good.
great. Doing
Tell
great.
us-
Waiting to see what's on your mind.
Yeah, tell us what's on your mind.
What's on my mind? Y'all kind of sort of delve into one of my subjects early in the
Corned beef.
Oh, that was pretty good too, though. But about Marvel and DC, I've been a fan for years, so I've been watching this change, and a lot of people don't realize that the mess up was back in the day when the Marvel and DC started. They messed up.
Okay, explain.
Basically, what happened. Apparently, from what I've read up on, I think it was 4. I think it may have been 4 or 3 guys, and they was working on the comic and stuff like that. And then something bad happened in the group, so the group broke up. And then they had one person was selling the merchandise, and another person was selling the merchandise, and then they, I guess, somehow made up, and they came back together. But the other guys didn't want to come back together. So that's what messed up Marvel and DC comics and stuff like that. And then what made matters worse was that apparently there's a thing called contracts and wills. And a lot of people didn't have contracts and wills, so that kind of sort of messed everything up more and stuff like that. And then you got Stan Lee, and kind of sort of Stan Lee was one of the, I think he was one of the main living guys, but the guys before him messed up. So he didn't have control of the other merchandise and stuff like that. And he couldn't do anything about it because the people, the partners sold it. So that's what kind of sort of messed Marvel Comics up. That's why they're in this big mess now, pretty much.
So you're not for gay Captain America, is that what you're telling us?
I can't help it, man. I'm laughing. All right, yeah, I'm laughing, damn it. It's funny. I just put a picture of gay Captain America in the chat room. I don't know if it works.
Honestly, I could care less if there's a gay character in Captain America.
I care, damn it.
I don't care.
I do.
I don't care one bit.
I know you don't. Go ahead,
I know, but get this. See what Marvel and DC don't realize is that they basically messing up because everybody. Cause see, I watch the shows on YouTube, and everybody and all the people that are hardcore on YouTube. Guess what? They're boycotting.
They're checking out.
Calling. They're writing. They're throwing all the shows up under the bus and stuff like that. They even throwing Star Wars up under the bus.
Well, the whole thing is you've got these people, And it has to do with the clip that I played before your call. You've got cultural warriors out there bombarding, especially our boys. You know, when I was growing up and when Sal was growing up, even though he might not admit it, but we used to emulate war and cowboys and Indians.
Hello, I was
cops and
involved in
robbers. Cops
Hello, me too.
and right?
Yep, me too. Yep.
You know?
That was my thing.
I used to we had a place.
Wait, Regina, were you Cagney or Lacey?
I wasn't Cagney or Lacey. I was just going to, harm you.
I was Sergeant Rock. I told you, butter. You know, that's what I liked. You know, and this is what we did. We had a place because I grew up in the 70s. I was a little bit too young to go to the Vietnam War, but our little woods that we had, you know, urban woods behind the parking lot in the apartment complex. There was a little stretch of woods, and it wasn't even an acre. But we used to call it Vietnam.
Okay.
And we used to go to the Army surplus store. We used to get on a bus and go downtown to the Army surplus store, which is right in the middle of all the, you know, strip clubs and everything, and peep shows. They had peep shows back then that Pittsburgh public parasite school teachers used to work at the peep shows. You know, when they would strike, when they would go on strike, they'd go down there and whatever. But we'd try to buy berets and stuff and look like, you know, the Vietnam soldiers and stuff. I mean, that's what we did.
Okay.
And we played cops and robbers. And, you know, now what we probably need to have is a good game with our kids of cowboys. And they used to have cowboys and Indians.
Yep.
And that's not cool. That's not cool anymore. But we could have like a game of cowboys and Muslims or something. You know, I don't know. That might.
Yeah,
work.
I used to always. I did a trade off. I was Tonto, and then I was.
Yeah, or the Lone Ranger, one of them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
there you
that's
go.
what
I
I
mean, there was something for everybody. You know, we had girls in the neighborhood, and they were like the nurse corps. I'm serious. They were like the Army Nurse Corps. We were just real, man, back in the day. I mean, I want you to listen to Kamala Harris. She's not African American. She's like Indian and Caribbean. Jamaican, yeah.
Yeah, she's Jamaican Indian.
Yeah, something like that. But I want you to listen to her. She's and understand, ladies and gentlemen, she's the president of the United States. And she's receiving the Prime Minister of Ireland on St. Paddy's Day. And I want you to listen to how much she loves America as she gets ready to introduce herself to the Irish like they don't know who this whore already is. But let's listen to her.
But before I begin, I do want to talk about what happened in Georgia, in Atlanta. It is tragic. Our country, the president and I and all of us, we grieve for the loss. Our prayers are extended to the families of those who have been killed. And it speaks to a larger issue, which is the issue of violence in our country and what we must do to never tolerate it and to always speak out against it. The investigation is ongoing. We don't yet know, we're not yet clear about the motive. But I do want to say to our Asian American community that we stand with you and understand how this has frightened and shocked and outraged all people. But knowing the increasing level of hate crime against our Asian American brothers and sisters, we also want to speak out in solidarity with them and acknowledge that none of us should ever be silent in the face of any form of hate. And with that, I am very excited to speak with the Taoiseach and to meet you this morning. Good morning. I am Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, and very much looking forward to our conversation.
I screwed
and
the San
happy
Francisco
St. Patrick's
mayor in
Day
front of his wife.
On behalf of our country, as you know, our country has a long history of friendship, of shared values and culture and experiences with the people of Ireland.
Unbelievable. I mean, this is disgusting to me.
That's the torture and the agony because she talks through her nose. I wonder how much cocaine has been snorting.
I know, and I look at her, and you know, and I know, and the American people know, she's got cankles. She's got Hillary Clinton cankles. I guarantee it. Ladies and gentlemen. That's not even fun. That's not even real. But, you know, she's the president.
She either got cankles or either can't control the bowels.
Okay.
Well,
See, Go ahead, Sal. Take it away.
Hey, Regina, we have one more caller holding, so why don't you give us your final comments?
Okay, my final comment is that for all those people out there that write comic books and stuff like that and do the design stuff like that, have a will and do not break up with your partner because that's what messes up the business.
I agree. Butter. I agree 100%. Thanks, Regina. Always appreciate that. Ralph, stand by. A split Republican conference. You're not going to believe this. This is why I loathe the Republican Party as it sits today. A split House Republican conference voted today to overturn the House GOP's, and it was fake, ladies and gentlemen, ban on earmarks. House Republicans voted 102 to 84. 102 Republicans in the House voted to reinstate earmarks. It was the resolution sponsored by Rep. Mike Rogers, Republican Alabama, Republican Alabama, which is reportedly a much closer vote than House GOP leadership thought. They thought they were just going to roll us over. And make no mistake, that's McCarthy and Scalise. And everybody you think is on our side who is not on our side, McCarthy, Scalise, they're all Democrats. The renewed practice requires Republican lawmakers to write a justification for any earmark they want to sponsor and verify they have no financial stake in the earmark. The lying bastards, if you believe that, you're dumber than they are. Those in favor of bringing back earmarks believe it would bring more power to Congress and can serve as a tool. You know, this bullshit, I'm not even reading any more of it. Ralph is up next. Ralph, you know, this is why you can't trust these people. These people are not trustworthy. They come on here and they act like they're, oh man, Trump all the way. And as soon as John Boehner goes away, they come back with this. It's sickening. Your thoughts on this and your thoughts on why you called.
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, going backwards here from what you just said to Regina and everybody on back, because I end up with China, North Korea, and Trump.
I know you hung in there for a long time. I appreciate it. Go ahead. Anything you want to talk about?
The Republican rhinos is what this is. They've been trying, and they're trying again, like they did right after the election, to say and do things in the media to try to garner Trump voters. But they are not succeeding. The Trump voters are awake. That's why I kept saying weeks ago that 75 million people that voted for Trump scares the living hell out of them. And they're trying to get their power back to be like the Democrats.
Nope.
Because when be like the Democrats, then they get positive press and all that, and everybody likes them, and they get a warm and fuzzy feeling. That's all this is. All right? Right now, Trump has 75 million people waiting in the wings to pounce on whatever, whenever, and they know it. Trump is not going to officially announce that he's running in 2024. He's going to do like he said with Maria and a few other people in the press, that it's only going to take a handful of seats to flip the House. If he could do what he said with the Maria Bartiromo speech and still lose the presidency because of some skullduggery, then imagine what happens when he backs candidates. Trump has large coattails. The man scares the crap out of them. The Democrats know that they have no way of winning with what they won with the last time. Dominion voting machines or not, because the cat's already out of the bag. They shot their wad with that.
I think so, too.
HR 1 to the Supremes, they're going to lose anyway.
I think,
totally
Ralph, what I've been saying, and I stick by this, and it's what I didn't really completely illustrate it earlier, but, when I talk to my neighbors and my friends, I say these idiots, if they wouldn't have been so, you know how they are, because you've met them. You know these people. We all know these people. They're the people that have to have their shit right now. They got to have it right now. They don't want it in 2 weeks. They want their check right now. These are who the people that we're dealing with. And I think what they did, first, they sprung Barack Obama on us 25 years too early. If they would have waited 25 more years and found another Barack Obama, another queer coke-smoking dude in Hawaii that wasn't white, they should have put him on us 20 years from now when you and I were dead. And then they would have walked right over the whole country, because the generation of ours wouldn't be here to defend the country. And I think that's what they're doing right now. I think that they think we're so stupid.
Right now,
good.
With the Sheep Jackson League, gun control, the HR 1, all this, incrementally or otherwise, but I don't think you got to worry about the Supreme Court not taking up the fight now, because they don't have to worry about disenfranchised voters and so on and so forth. They can pick and choose what they want to go for, and they can sit there and tell, like that First Amendment case, Roberts was the only one that was the dissenting vote, and that college guy, Christian dude, that was forbidden from giving a speech or handing out leaflets or something on campus. And he won in a 8-1 case of freedom of speech. The only thing they haven't decided yet is what kind of damages he's going to get for each particular incident. Okay? So that tells me that the court is going to play ball. They just didn't want to have to fight over disenfranchised voters on the other side. I mean, it would have been a flipping mess.
But they still should have done it. They still should have done it. It was.
They still done it, but I understand the mess it would have created.
Of course,
they'd have been. Trump would have been in office forever, because they'd had to have somebody to run the show.
Well, think of Dred Scott. Think if Dred Scott would have went the other way. We might not have had a civil war, and it might happen the same way now. If they would have picked it up and had some balls. Because it was clear they stole the election. It was clear. There was no question. Anybody with an ounce of freaking brain matter knows these bastards stole the election. These scumbag parasite Democrats in states like Pennsylvania did it.
Yeah, Trump can't stand up to all of them. He's got to have people helping him out on his side.
I agree. I agree.
That was the problem. There was none of these guys. But see, now Trump gets to sit back, handpick whoever he wants to do Congress. He knows he could take Congress back.
Yeah,
and he knows
right.
seriously standing in his way for the Democrat side, and they're not going to let this stupid voting machine gaga and the mail-in ballot crap again. Yeah, Venezuela did that too. They were one of the first ones. That's how what's his name that's in there now, the one before him, stayed in power.
Hey, look at Bolivia. Have you been paying attention to Bolivia? I brought it up on Monday.
What?
I brought it up on Monday, and now there's people in Bolivia that are saying that this isn't Cuba, and there's thousands of people throughout many different states in Bolivia that are out in the streets, man. I mean, they're out there. This is, again, I'll go back to what I said before. I think that these people are so disjointed, they don't know where they are. In other words, they're in that bubble in D.C., and we're out here in the real world, in the real country of America. They don't understand, man. People don't want this socialism, this communism. They don't want it. I think that they're on dangerous territory. That's my opinion, and we'll see how that develops. But that's the way I feel. Ralph, I got to get your final.
Good. Seat all the way, and it's just going to snowball from there. But moving on to Idi Amin Dada, North Korea, the China deal, and all that. Okay, Biden's to meet with his senior leaders in Alaska with China, and they're supposed to do the same thing in Seoul, South Korea, with North Koreans.
The affirmative action Secretary of Defense talked to the South Koreans already and said that we're there forever, man. We're never leaving. We're going to be there forever, that asshole.
Well, it's got to do with
I'm sorry.
Side of the street, because the Kim Jong-un's sister is starting to exert herself.
Okay.
And despite all the BS from South Korea media saying that Kim Jong-un was dying dead or whatever, he's very much alive.
Okay.
If you see the video of him. Anyhow, going on to China and the COVID virus. If you pay attention to the Indian news agency Gravitas, they've got a 5-minute video that talks about how Xi Jinping and this COVID thing was a master plan to make the vaccine for it, get everybody wanting China's vaccine for it, but didn't bank on the fact that the world was too smart for his own good, and they turned around and came up with the vaccines out the wazoo. So now China's trying to strong-arm everybody and their brother into, being their friend and all this. And meanwhile, they're still sending their fishing fleets out to the South China Sea territorial waters of a lot of countries and having their Coast Guard escort these suckers. And they're actually either being confiscated, the fishing boats, or they're being shot and sunk.
Well, they'll never do it under President asterisk Joe Biden, but we need to get a different president and need to start sinking these Chinese ships.
Give them what they want. China wants everything to revert back to the way it was before Trump.
Of course they do. There's no question about that. I mean, you look at what's going on. I said this the other day. I got a stimulus, a suicidulus. That's what it is. It's not a stimulus. It's a suicidulus amount of money from the federal treasury today. An obscene amount of money. And couple that with American businesses being shut down and American manufacturing being shut down and Chinese communist manufacturing going 300% 24/7, and all of those pressure washers and lawn mowers and gas grills manufactured in China. And now, all of a sudden, everybody gets these welfare checks, these parasite checks. They're all going to buy these freaking gas grills, you dumbasses, and that money's going straight to build battleships in China. And if you don't believe me, then that's on you.
Well, as far as, like I've said this before, as far as China's concerned, China, as far as what they make a big deal about in the media, they have more ships than the U.S., but they don't have ships like
Give them time, Ralph. Give them time, Ralph. Give them time. If you look at the infantry soldier in China, he looks like an American soldier. He has the same helmet, the same rifle, the same body armor, the same boots. He's got everything the American soldier has. And let me tell you, their Navy has everything we have too. Now, I know that they're not there yet. But God damn it, they're going to be there if we don't do something.
Well, I'll tell you a little
your opinion on that.
Now, I understand, but the Russians and us are trying to keep China from acquiring an aircraft engine company in the Ukraine.
Okay.
Now, why is that? Remember when I mentioned the J-20, their stealth aircraft?
Yeah.
Well, China's tired of either backward engineering Russian engines or putting Russian engines into that plane, which severely underpowers the airplane, or the damn thing just craps out. The J-20s have been around for at least 20 years. And
ladies and gentlemen, what Ralph's talking about, backward engineering, is very important. Because this is what they do. If you remember, Iran captured one of our drones, and China's done this throughout the years with other equipment and infiltration and different espionage. But they find the final product, and then they backward engineer it and realize how to manufacture it. That's what he's talking about. Go ahead and wrap it up, man. We're a quarter after 10. I got to go.
All right. But anyways, and it's going to be the same thing with North Korea. Basically, everybody wants sanctions lifted, all this other junk. China, right now, like I told you, they quit manufacturing the more advanced aircraft carriers that they were trying to make. That kind of looks like one of our Nimitz carriers or the Ford class, whatever. So they can't make everything work. So the two aircraft carriers that they got, which are ex-Russian fossil fuel aircraft carriers, would not stand a chance against a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier because they got a ski jump type of launching system, which limits the aircraft that they can carry and the weight load of the aircraft that can make it off that ski jump.
Do they use steam?
All that.
Do they use steam? Or what's the point of the ski jump? Is it a shorter deck?
It's just a ski jump is all it is. The Brits got the same thing with their new Queen Elizabeth class of carriers with the F-35s, but they got the Stovall variant of that, which means it takes off like a Harrier.
Okay, that means straight up and down. Okay, got you.
Yeah, they can either go straight up and down or they can take off on that ski jump deal that they got. But if it went toe-to-toe, a Nimitz-class carrier could take the two Shenglong, whatever one, and the other one, Lang Li, whatever they call it, and that is they're pieces of crap.
All right.
Okay?
Well, Ralph, man, I love you from Missouri, but your time is up. Thanks for calling. Got to go, man. Appreciate it.
Later.
All right. There's Ralph from Missouri. Sal, what a show, man. I kept you long. I apologize for that.
That's okay. We left a lot of stuff in the show notes.
We did. You got to do that, man, at times. I mean, you just have to buckle up, and, I appreciate you sticking it out an extra 15 minutes. Always appreciate that, but I don't like doing that to you guys because you guys got jobs, man. You got yobs. Your final thoughts on everything going on? How can people get in touch with you? And thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, final comments. Hey, thanks everyone out there, all our listeners, all our callers, and most especially all our patrons. Hey, just let's all stick in there all together. Let's keep it going. Where can you catch me? Hopefully right here next Wednesday.
Definitely, man, if it's up to me. Maybe in the studio, but whatever. It doesn't matter either way. I want to thank you for coming on, Sal. Always a great performance. I have some great co-hosts, no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, go to rspn.bandcamp.com. Support Jacob Seals. Hope you're enjoying St. Patrick's Day and anything else going on. Stay tuned to what's going on. We'll be back on Friday. We have a guest on Friday. We're going to talk about the cancel culture because Mona Salama is still live and in the building, man. I mean, this is going to be a great year going forward. I wasn't sure if the show was going to go, and actually, really, this is episode 997, so there could be only 3 episodes left of Cold War Radio. Would I do that to you? I don't know. Maybe. Can you imagine there's 3 left and that's it? Well, I'm not going to do that. I don't think. We'll see, though. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, Jacob Seals in the background. Thanks for letting us into your life for a couple hours tonight. We'll be back on Friday and then back Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. God bless, folks. Happy St. Patrick's Day. This is for real Irish dudes.
Stood by the house and the Yanks they were within. And the Tinker boys they hissed advice but were with a pen. When we turned and shook as we had a look in the room where the dead man lay. So big Jim Dwyer made his last trip to the shores where his fathers lay. And 15 minutes later we had our first taste of whiskey. There was uncles giving lectures British history. The men all started telling jokes and the women, they got frisky. By 5 o'clock in the evening, every bastard there was pesky. Pretty well gone away, there's nothing left to say. Farewell to New York City boys, to Boston and PA. He took them out with a well-on clout, and I often heard him say, I'm a
Freeborn man of the USA.
He fought the champ
in Pittsburgh and he's slashing through the ground.
He took on Tiny Tuck
and it only went one round.
He never had no time for rights, for drink or dice or horse. But he never threw a fight when a fight was right, so they
sent him to the war. Fairly well gone away, there's nothing left to say.
With Staunch and Joe and Aaron gone, my love's in America. The calling of the rosary, Spanish wine from far away. I'm a
freeborn man of the USA. Yeah!
Said goodbye to you. I remembered how I swore that I'd come back to you one day. And as the sunset came to meet the evening on a hill, I told you I'd always love you.
Always did, always will. Fairly well gone away, there's nothing left to say.
But to say adieu to your eyes as blue as the water in the bay. To Big Jim Dwyer, a man of war who was often heard to say,
I'm a freeborn man of the USA.
I'm a
freeborn man of the USA.
I'm a
freeborn man of the USA.
How I explain her? She really make my brain hurt. She always need a Twitter page to save her. I'm really sick of her. She always spitting gibberish. I wasn't gonna diss you till you talked about my militants. You said my veterans are better off just sitting in line outside the VA when the waiting has been killing us. We wanna visit a private doctor or physician, but you say the VA isn't broken, so don't go fix it in. Girl, you tripping, you go tell that to the veterans. That in front of the veterans affair without the medicine. This is nonsense, it's not about law or politics. This is for all my veterans sweating out in the hottest. If you really are that somebody who never went and fought the sick, how could you ever talk about medical? We ought to get. I see you move your lips, but it never make no sense. You need to play your documentary on Netflix. Cause like CBS, AOC don't know ABCs. BETs are not 1, 2, 3, we just be seen. So you can cut the script that you read for the public. And with a puppet in front of us fronting it really make me sick of AOC. Yeah, you know me. Sick of AOC. Yeah, you know me. You sick of AOC. Yeah, this one my BET.
Thank you. Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.